You must return the black runestones you acquired to Lucane. Lucane was quite worried about your safety and flashes a relieved smile when he sees you return. You give him the 2 black runestones you found. Nobody should be able to enter the illusionary lands now. You tell Lucane that you didn't find the dragon's crown, and what the spirit told you about the ancient dragon. There are many legends about the ancient dragon, but no one knows any specifics. Lucane suggests seeking a specialist. Lucane has an old friend who once researched the ancient dragons. He currently lives as a hermit in the Lost Woods. They had a falling out long ago, and they are not on good terms. It seems you'll have to see him in Lucane's stead. He owes a debt to the late king. He is hard-headed, but he honors his debts. Lucane writes a letter to the castle. First, you must go to the castle and ask King Dean to write an official letter asking for the hermit's cooperation.
How can I help you?
You must ask King Dean to write a formal letter asking the hermit to cooperate with your mission. You request an audience with King Dean. However, an anxious-looking Princess Vivian appears instead. Upon inheriting the throne, Dean left the castle with some subordinates and hasn't returned. You brush it aside, reasoning that Dean must have some sort of plan. You assuage the princess's worries. She asks why you're here, and you tell her you need a letter to take to the hermit. She drafts a royal request for you. Vivian gives you a letter asking for the hermit's aid. You must go into the Lost Woods and learn about the ancient dragon. The Adventurers Guild has forbidden the use of the gate, and the ruins are sealed. You should ask Samuel what happened. The Adventurers Guild has forbidden the use of the gate, and the ruins are sealed. You should ask Samuel what happened. You ask the Guildmaster why the magic gate on the outskirts of town has been sealed off. Samuel says the gate had become unstable, and it was impossible to know where you'd end up, so he had it sealed. Perhaps the gate's appearance was a side effect of Mornian's gate rune usage. It may be tied to the crumbled runestone. But you have no choice. You tell Samuel that you'll accept the risk and coerce him into allowing you to use the gate. Samuel relents, but also suggests going to the stable and renting a horse as an alternative. You can travel by horse or magic. However, the gate will now drop you at a random location, unlike before.
Go back.
You venture into the Lost Woods to ask the hermit about the ancient dragon. The lost woods are so vast and similar looking that you quickly lose track of where you are. It is said that only the hermit who lives here actually knows the way out of this forest. Sensing a presence, you turn around. You see a man standing upon a rock. He immediately shouts, "I don't want trouble!" When you hand him the letter and explain your purpose, he grins confidently. He says the ancient dragon can't be revived. The ancient dragon sleeps in the illusionary lands as a fossil. It's impossible to go there, much less awaken the dragon. He tosses you several tomes and tells you to read them if you want to learn. Then he points to the path exiting the forest. You take a boat across the underground lake, as the hermit advised. This seems like the safest way to leave the lost woods. You were able to defeat the extra-dimensional magical being known as a gazer. It dawns upon you that this is no safe route. In fact, this is likely the most dangerous route. You brought back the tomes on the ancient dragon that the hermit threw your way. The books you borrowed from the hermit are packed with research about the ancient dragon. Have Lucane look at them. Immediately, you and Lucane pour through the books on the ancient dragon. It is tough reading. Lucane summarizes for you.
The illusionary lands are a great land where the ancient dragon is sealed, along with Alicia's fortress. It is an immortal dragon, born alongside the deities. The goddess fossilized it and made it sleep for time indefinite.
All the tomes seem to corroborate that general idea, but a particular line in one of the books jumps out at you.
When the current Elysian king is sacrificed, the spell will be broken, and the ancient dragon will rise from its slumber.
The memory of your meeting with the late king pops into your mind. He spoke of preventing himself from being sacrificed. King Dean's safety does not appear to be a given anymore. You speed to the castle, hoping against hope that he's there.
Oh, how can I help you?
Frantically, your mind offers myriad silent prayers to any deity you've ever heard of. You rush to meet King Dean. Once again, only the princess appears before you. Vivian seems to have been waiting for you. She shows you a letter. I write this letter in the event something untoward transpires. The letter begins. You begin bracing for the worst. Dean's letter continues. I'm departing for a liaison with representatives of Mornion to obtain the dragon's crown. Hydeland is in grave peril, and though I've reservations, I've accepted Mornion's terms to serve the greater good. You now know the sum of all your fears has been realized. Mornion lured him to the illusionary lands and sacrificed him. A spark of hope arises. The illusionary lands have been sealed off. Perhaps the dragon won't be a threat to the realm. Unfortunately, Lucane immediately extinguishes your spark of hope. He opens a dusty volume and directs you to a passage.
The ancient dragon will gradually regain its strength. When at full strength, it will have dominion over all magic.
This includes the rune magic that holds it prisoner. There's no escaping it. The ancient dragon threatens all life. It's only a matter of time before the ancient dragon regains its strength and can leave the illusionary lands. The ancient dragon must be stopped before it regains its strength. However, the dragon is nigh invulnerable now. Lucane points to an image in the book and tells you to look for talismans. They will weaken the dragon's defenses. The Elysian king received these 9 gems from the goddess Althena. The 9 talismans are scattered throughout the world. Only the strongest and the most diligent will find them. You must go to each area and overcome a difficult trial to collect the talismans. You need the 9 talismans to defeat the ancient dragon. You need the 9 talismans to defeat the ancient dragon. Samuel says that he needs to talk to you. As an experienced adventurer, he wishes to impart some advice to you. He says you must be prepared for anything in battle. So he used to keep a variety of weapons for each situation. He gives you a pack so you can organize yourself. You can equip the pack's contents during your adventure. If you feel like you require more organization, you can purchase more packs from Morgan's shop.
You're back.
Hydeland is in a state of chaos from the Orc invasion, and yet another debate concerning the royal succession. Of course, Bulgar is trying to exploit the situation. Princess Vivian feels she must take the throne to protect the kingdom. She appears calm on the outside, but it is apparent to all that she carries the weight of the world on her shoulders. The parliament is split between those who would want the princess on the throne and those who would gain from MacNeil ruling. The princess's expression softens when she sees you. She smiles, and you offer your heartfelt encouragement. Many things lie within the ruins of the old Elysian temple, some quiescent, some far less so. An ancient dragon spoken of in myths is said to have destroyed the Elysian civilization in one night. By the time you arrive at the battle, Roland has already vanquished the last of the foes. He lives up to his legend. Roland works through this region alone, never teaming up. You have gained insight into the ruins by talking to him. Which path will you take? Medusa turns to stone and crumbles into dust. This act of vengeance should assuage some of the anger of those unfortunate souls that she petrified. You obtained the green talisman. You need 8 more talismans to defeat the ancient dragon. This underground labyrinth was created by the magician Wallace in a single night. It is said that fearsome monsters are held captive in the depths of this hazardous, trap-filled maze. Suddenly, a rodent darts out and begins talking. Ricky, the magician's apprentice, needs your help once again. He says that wayward wizards have waylaid the labyrinth again. There must be a reason mages keep attacking. Which path will you take? You learn that the labyrinth was built to contain the Cyclopes. Pursue the magician with the key. They must be trying to open the door to the prison. You were able to lock and seal the Cyclopes prison once again. Ricky, the magician's apprentice, is elated and gives you a handsome reward. You obtained the Aqua Talisman. You need 7 more talismans to defeat the ancient dragon. The Orc army presently controls Bilberon, the underground fortress built into the canyon. The King's army has been mounting a fierce offensive to try and reclaim the fortress. You step into the enemy kitchen. A fat cook angrily barks at you, yelling that the food isn't ready yet. She seems to be mistaking you for a hungry recruit. You can play along to glean information or leave quietly. Which path will you take? The King's army, in trying to breach the impregnable Gargoyle Gate, is suffering many casualties. You decide to join in the skirmish and support the King's army's attempt to break through the gate. You step into the bloody chaos, where both armies are exchanging blows and cannon fire. Just beyond here is the notorious Gargoyle Gate. A gate this solid cannot be destroyed without a massive cannon. Use the King's army's cannon to breach it. The soldiers of the King's army praise you and your team for conquering an important gate of the underground fortress. The fight will continue until the fortress is regained, but you have assisted as much as you personally can. You obtained the Orange Talisman. You need 6 more talismans to defeat the ancient dragon. The lost woods are so vast and similar looking that you quickly lose track of where you are. It is said that only the hermit who lives here actually knows the way out of this forest. Sensing a presence, you turn around. You see a man standing on a rock. The grouchy-looking hermit asks if you are brave.
Two paths leave the forest, he shouts. The path of the coward and the path of glory, which leads to a vicious monster.
Which path will you take? You have heard rumors of the violent monster before. Many northern knights lost their lives challenging this beast. The terrifying killer rabbit has breathed its last, thanks to your efforts. A familiar voice congratulates you, saying, "Now glory is yours." You obtained the Black Talisman. You need 5 more talismans to defeat the ancient dragon. In the catacombs, stark white bones are strewn about the ground as far as the eye can see. The sheer number of the deceased is the only indication left of this area's former prosperity. A strange knight stumbles out of the darkness. He pays you no heed and walks right past you. The knight is muttering to himself. You strain your ears, but all you can make out is the death god is coming. Which path will you take? When you step onto the walkway, the knight disappears like smoke. The path back is inaccessible. The situation leaves you anxious. To overcome the power of the death god, you must rely on the goddess to save you. Only the light shone by the angel statue will expose the wraith's weakness. You destroy the dream heart and send the wraith back to the underworld. You cannot destroy death, the opposite of life. You should rejoice in the fact you even still draw breath. You obtained the yellow talisman. You need 4 more talismans to defeat the ancient dragon. The inside of the cave connects to a fissure on the coastline. It seems large enough to contain another ocean. Sailors dread passing through this area. There are myriad tales of ships disappearing here.
Oh, I can do that.
A beautiful voice in the sea calls out to you. You'd heard of the mermaid's legendary curiosity. She asks you many questions. She wandered into these shallow waters after being chased by a kraken. She says the kraken should still be nearby. Which path will you take? The kraken lurks in the cave and attacks ships that pass through the area. You throw caution to the wind and fling your party headlong into a confrontation against the Kraken. The stranded ship starts moving. Something is pulling the ship from beneath the water. You strike a death blow to the Kraken that had been terrorizing the sea. Many sailors will certainly raise a toast in your honor once word of your victory gets out. You obtained the Red Talisman. You need 3 more talismans to defeat the ancient dragon. The Mage's Tower, once greatly admired by magicians as a bastion of wisdom. It now embodies all the fears Hydeland has of being conquered by the rebel forces which conspire against. The followers of Mornion seem to be capturing as many spirits and fairies as they can find to power their rune magic. The spirit tells you about the terrible experiments going on in this tower. It seems that they're fusing monsters together. Which path will you take? You can access the laboratory in the upper levels of the tower by using the hidden elevator. The frantic researcher seems to have abandoned his experimentation and run off. The contents of the beaker are shaking uncontrollably. The Chimera, unable to move around in such a confined space, died, curled up on itself. The continued production of these monsters will only cause great harm to the kingdom. You obtained the White Talisman. You need 2 more talismans to defeat the ancient dragon. In the Age of the Gods, mankind built a giant tower in a sacred place in an attempt to reach the world of the gods. That arrogance angered the gods, and it is said that the entire city was leveled. You meet a female warrior monk who was injured in the battle against the demons. She was sent to purify this sanctuary. A ritual to summon the Demon King is underway. She must place the Holy Seal in the temple to seal the Demon King again. Which path will you take? To prevent the resurrection of the Demon King, you decide to stop the threat at the source by crushing the ritual. The demon realm's breaching of the human realm is causing an earthquake, and the ruins are crumbling. In one day, you have prevented the Demon King's resurrection and assisted in defeating his top demon, the Archdemon. The town temple will certainly inscribe your name as a savior, to be remembered throughout the ages. You obtained the Blue Talisman. You need 1 more talisman to defeat the ancient dragon. These are the ruins of the ancient capital city. It was destroyed following an invasion from the Northern Empire. Now it is a dangerous place, full of dragons and wyverns. Tomit is surprised by the sudden nature of your visit, but relaxes. He demands coin in exchange for his help. The red dragons nest in the ruins, sleeping amongst mountains of treasure. You ask the thief for more details. Which path will you take? The area reeks of sulfur, and earth-shaking snoring reverberates throughout. When you're ready, move forth. The red dragon is nigh. You have defeated the red dragon, said to be the strongest creature known to man. Your name will command respect for all time. Bear your new title proudly, Dragon Slayer. You obtained the purple talisman. Do you remember the runes that Lucane mentioned? These secret runes will open the gate to the illusionary lands. Lucane tried his best to fix the broken black runestone, but the task was beyond his capabilities. Without the gate, you cannot enter the illusionary lands. Even with all the talismans, you'll be unable to stop the dragon. There isn't a spirit left that could create a rune like this. The runes only survived by being used sparingly. Haven't you seen this rune somewhere, though? Seek it. Once you find it, you can reach the illusionary lands.
Oh, how can I help you?
You're back.
You recall what happened at the castle. Hydeland is in a state of chaos from the Orc invasion, and yet another debate concerning the royal succession. Of course, Bolga is trying to exploit the situation. Princess Vivian feels she must take the throne to protect the kingdom. She appears calm on the outside, but it is apparent to all that she carries the weight of the world on her shoulders. The parliament is split between those who would want the princess on the throne and those who would gain from MacNeil ruling. The princess's expression softens when she sees you. She smiles, and you offer your heartfelt encouragement. It's the rune you needed. The 3 special runes react with each other and connect to the illusionary lands. You step forth into the illusionary lands. The goddess's powers of resurrection cannot reach you here. With a ground-shaking thud that parts the clouds, the ancient dragon falls. You have returned it to its eternal sleep. The immortal dragon slumbers once again. Congratulations, hero! With your own hands, you have defeated a myth. The dragon's crown lay near the ancient dragon. It was the cause of this incident, but you can make it a symbol of hope. Without the demons, this is just an ordinary crown. However, the minds of the people have ascribed great power to it. You kneel to offer the dragon's crown to the new queen, Vivian. The crown of the Elysian king fits her well. With the legendary crown, the royal scepter and orb, none can deny her rightful ascension to the throne. The dragon's crown will be a symbol of power, inspiring fear in the hearts of any who would threaten Hydeland. It represents the fact that warriors who defeated the mightiest foes reside in Hydeland and will rise to defend it from any threat. Queen Vivian invites you to work at the castle. You value your freedom, so you politely decline. However, you vow to work for the Queen whenever the need may arise. In turn, she blesses you with the royal favor for life. As you exit through the Great Gate, many soldiers turn and salute. You have completed a legendary accomplishment. Queen Vivian would lead Hydeland well, reclaiming its past borders and reasserting itself as a powerful nation. The tale of the Dragon's Crown ends here. Despite accomplishing enough for myriad lifetimes, your story is just beginning. You became quite a hit with the nobles. Perhaps they thought an alluring, powerful sorceress could grant their every desire. Enticed by the glamorous life you'd always dreamed of, you do prophecies and palm readings to enjoy life in high society. People criticized you for trading in your old life for the finer things, but that wasn't true. You were working for the kingdom. Your prophecies were clever distractions from the nobles' worries, avarice, and ambitions. You placated all their unrest. But this mundane life bores you. You long for ale from the Dragon's Haven Inn. It isn't luxury you crave, but adventure. When you glance up at the goddess statue, you notice that the image of Althena has been made anew. When you touch it, the goddess's voice echoes in your head. Her power returned because you defeated the dragon who stole it. Althena praises you and reveals a shocking truth. The ancient dragon you defeated was not the only one that awakened. She wishes that you would also save Jula and Vernus. With the goddess's combined powers, the seal will become stronger. They'd be able to seal the gate room permanently, forever locking the ancient dragons in the illusionary lands. First, you must defeat the ancient dragon who has stolen the goddess Jula's powers. To accomplish this, you must gather 9 more talismans. The trials to claim these will be even more difficult. These other ancient dragons have been awakened for much longer than the first. They will be far more formidable. Gather the 9 talismans to weaken the dragon, and then defeat it to restore power to the goddess Jula.